Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki spiritual healer. And today I had a premonition. Well, last night I had a premonition, and I wanted to share it with you. And I really didn't like it. I really didn't like what I saw. I saw, the numbers, 976, 187 kept flashing in my mind. And, I woke up with it flashing in my mind. And I really don't like that because, those numbers mean some disaster is about to come. It means unaliving. It means, MDK, and as I understand what's been going on, in Houston, in Texas, and I wanted to give my condolences to all of those families who have fallen, victim to, and their people, their young people have fallen victim to a serial unaliver. So I'm feeling something really disastrous up on us. And I want us to, brace for the worst. I want us to, make sure that we're in alignment with God, that, we fear God, that we understand that the fear of God makes us successful in the land, that the fear of God makes us, victorious over our enemies, over the entity, and we have to make sure that we are teaching our kids also to be in alignment and the fear of God. Nothing made me happier than to see a young lady during those school unalivings say that, when she was in those classrooms, she was praying, and she told the reporter that she was praying. And so I love to see that when our young people understand and know God, and know at a very early age to fear God. There were other interviews done by that reporter at that time a couple of months ago. And, the other kids were just saying they were very scared, and they never said anything about God. We have to be able to understand that it is imperative, and it is a covenant binding upon us to have the fear of God in our hearts, in our minds, so that we know how to, exert, our control, our strong hand, over our society, over our communities, over our houses. You don't have to be men of absolute power all the time, but there are certain times that will call for that kind of action, when people are trying to harm you and unalive you. So, like I say, and I stand on what I say, I like to keep my promises to people, and I like to keep my word that, when someone is trying to harm you and unalive you, you don't have to forgive those people. There isn't, forgiveness for those people. That's between them and God. So, I just wanted to bring this, somber, and with everything that has been going on, I feel really somber in my spirit. And I really didn't want to bring this word onto you, but I had to, and I have no choice but to. And, just to be able to prepare you, just to be able, to make sure that whatever it is, we have our armor, we have any kind of, food, water. We're moving away from a lot of those things. We're moving away from trying to be entertainers, and trying to be rappers and singers, and all of those things. We're moving away from that, where we have to sell our gifts and sell our souls. And like I say, we have to make sure that we're closer to God, that we're educating our kids to be closer to God, to understand God, to fear God, to receive those blessings from God. our main objective is to make sure that we're in alignment with God and not the entity. As we move away and take our power back from this negative entity, that's why you're being set up on. You're being set up on because you're taking your power back from this entity. And, I've had certain people that I have been life coaching over the last couple of months where they said that they knew that, they were, LGBTQ communities, male and female, when they were very young. And, I have let them know that that is a spirit that, has attacked them, because we've had, generations to go forward and not apologize for letting these entities, letting the colonizers abuse certain men, and not apologizing, for those kinds of acts that, we were paralyzed in fear so that we do nothing. And the main objective here is the fear part, where, either, you're going to fear God or you're going to fear the colonizer. You cannot have both. So these are our understandings that we have. This is what I'm getting, this download from that. And, I just wanted to, let you understand that, our parents back in the day, they wanted us to fear them. And we used to fear our parents. There's nothing worse than to have your mother come into the school. There's nothing worse than to have, your father give you a spanking. You wanted to keep away from that. You wanted to, try to change those grades. You want to try to get right when dad come home. You want to be the best child. So, to understand that to fear is to mean that you respect. You're willing to, communicate and bring that tone down to a level where you can understand why you need to fear certain, aspects of life. You need to fear God. You need to fear God when it's thundering and lightning. You need to fear God, because he has given you your parents, although he said that, do not obey them if they try to associate something. But a lot of times it's not that in our homes. Is that our children don't fear us, that, they don't understand that this life, that this entity will harm you and take you out, and they get with other people and they think that, they're grown, and they start smelling themselves. So, I just wanted to, come on to you with this word that, in order to remove the negative energy of whatever disaster is coming, I have not been given what it is, but I know that there is something negative coming, and as long as we have the fear of God in our hearts and minds, then we will, that negative energy will levitate over us, and it will go to those who are in alignment with the entity. It will go to those who are the shayateens up on the earth, who think that they are, standing behind a shadow of smoke and clouds and mirrors. We want to make sure that we are in alignment with God, that we go and understand and read to our children and make sure that they are in alignment with the fear of God, that we're not letting them play video games and, have the TV on or have the radio on when God's work is moving outside. Any kind of disaster where it's thunder and lightning, hurricanes, of anything of that nature, unless you see the power of God move in your life. So we want to make sure that we are in alignment. We're reading every day. We're praying every day. We're fasting. And we are coming into the grounding, that of our gifts. We're coming into the grounding that our children also have those gifts at a very early age. And we need to, make sure that we're nurturing those gifts. And, there's no longer, time to sit around and dim the light of your light or your children's light. There's no time for that. You have to nurture this and let them know that the fear of God is to alleviate ourselves of any negative energy coming from God, and the punishment of God being upon us, and it will go to those who have been in alignment and in agreement with the entity that are against us. I've been giving you, the downloads that I've been getting. I've been giving you the premonitions that I've been getting. And this is one of those somber ones that, I really don't like to feel like this in my soul. But when I feel it, then I have to spit it out and say it to you. So, I hope that you have received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. Please book your one-on-one consultations with me. Book your live video chat sessions with me, your life coaching sessions. Donate to my platform. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.